Imagine having the ultimate Pokemon remakes, but in the form of Generation 5. Imagine Game Freak finally getting it right. Imagine finally seeing what the one true dragon looks like. This is Game Freak's chance to capitalize on early talks of a Black and White 3, but in the essence of potential upcoming remakes in 2024 or 2025. Perhaps a Pokemon Legends S game, Pokemon Gray, or something completely different. Next to Gen 3's Hoenn, Unova is my favorite region. I remember getting into the DS and DSi era games very late, but Unova really stuck out to me for some reason. My personal copy of Pokemon Black has over 200 hours just from shiny hunting, the battle subway, and online battling. I've recently purchased Black 2 in the last year, simply for the purpose of diving back into the fun. Keep in mind that these were essentially the last 2D Pokemon games, with 3D aspects, mind you. Unova is supposed to be a refresher, synonymous with Generation 1. If you put the two games side by side, you'd realize some similarities. The starters may have not been the best in the franchise, nor some of the designs of the new 156 Pokemon, but the main storyline was awesome. This was also the first generation to be based outside of Japan. The United States, Manhattan, New York, was the ideal setting to show off the 2D, 3D pixel graphics. After recently traveling to New York as well, it hit me hard as to what inspired Junichi Masuda to make a generation in the essence of NYC. It has many cultures, scenic views, with lots of history. It's a fast-paced city with lots of things to do. It's stunning on the DS and 3DS to this day. I love these games. The box legends, Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem are pretty dope as the Tao Trio. They all tie into the story very well. Moreover, the Mythicals, Victini, Meloetta, Genesect, and Keldeo all had short yet sweet introductions, which haven't really been executed very well since Generation 4. We really should acknowledge how well these games have held up over the years. 2011 and 2012 respectively. There's still so much story to tell. If Generation 5 remakes are confirmed, I want them to be executed way better than Generation 9. I understand that we're not done with Scarlet and Violet as yet, even though we have 2 DLCs on the way. I just want these remakes to be done just as well as Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That will be honestly ideal for me, and I'm pretty sure this will be a deal breaker for most of you guys, especially since a lot of players didn't like Generation 5. I understand that Generation 5 is completely different, and in the original Black and White, you mostly could only use the 156 Pokemon introduced until the national decks opened up. So yeah, hopefully now that a lot of people have seen that Generation 5 is a standout generation and actually has some story and some depth to Pokemon, a real RPG. Hopefully it'll just pretty much change the ideas of persons who really hate it or rate it low to this day, because Unova's my favorite generation. It would be nice having better graphics than what we see in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and a few quality of life changes in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I just want Game Freak to take their time with these games. Do not rush it. I do not want to see these remakes at the end of 2023. I do not want to see these remakes at the beginning of 2024. It would honestly be ideal to see these remakes at the end of 2024 or maybe the beginning of 2025. That's my expectation. I want it to be perfect. I want them to craft this game up from the ground up. That would be most ideal. Finally having the shiny locks removed on Keldeo, Victini, and Meloetta. And I can see myself, grinding them out successfully. And I'm very hyped to replay this generation, and some Pokemon from this generation deserve new forms. In Generation 9, we saw Virizion getting a Paradox form. Perhaps Terrakion and Cobalion get theirs too, along with other Pokemon. There will be major graphical changes if these games will release on Nintendo Switch 2 console at the end of 2024. I just want these remakes to be executed correctly. Surely, most of you want the same. It was also just recently announced that a Pokemon Direct will premiere on August 8th. So there's more Pokemon news to discuss in those 35 minutes. Remakes, DLC, Pokemon Stadium 2, perhaps Gens 1 to 3 on the Nintendo 64 application for the Nintendo Switch, and so much more. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for giving me a bit of your time today.